Asante Sana Warden. Now, as we say here in Harambe, Twinde, that means let's go. And once again, Karabuni, my friends, welcome to Kilimanjaro Safaris. My name is Neil, and I will be your safari guide today through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve.
Wow, this safari is great so far.
Well, thank you for the compliment, thank you. Well, my friends, before we make our way onto the reserve, I would like to let you know it can be a rather bumpy ride out here, so I do advise that everyone remain in their seats while we are on the reserve. That does include when we are stopped to view the animals. Children can sit in their parents' laps if the parents so wish. That does mean seated in your lap, though. Not standing in your lap, and certainly not lifted into the air to be presented to the animals like Rafiki with Simba. And now we have our clearance to make our way onto the reserve. And the first stop on our journey today is going to be here in the little Ottery forest. Now, many of the animals that call this forest home can be difficult to spot at times because they're very well camouflaged to their environment. In fact, that animal you can see out there toward your right is so elusive that the Western world believed it to be simply a myth until the year 1901 when they were officially discovered. That animal is called an okapi. Now, the striping pattern on its legs is very similar to that of a zebra's, but they're not related to zebras at all. They're actually the only living relative of giraffes.
That's an okapi. That's an
And we might find a few more animals hanging out near the watering hole, which is over here on our left-hand side. Watering holes are congregating places for all different sorts of animals. And if there aren't any down here at the water's edge, we will probably find some making their way over this direction. My friends, I don't think that we're going to be able to see any more of the wildlife of this forest. They seem to be hiding from us at the moment. We'll continue on with our journey, though, and make our way toward the Safi River, and hopefully our luck will change for us. The Safi River is usually a good place to spot some of the more aquatic animals of Africa, like the Nile crocodile. Oh, now over here on our left-hand side, we can see a bloat of hippos there in the water. Now, hippos are obviously very large animals, but in relation to their body weight, they eat a pretty small amount. And they are herbivores. That means their diet consists of only vegetation. And most of the time we find them in the water. They do most of their activities there, including sleeping and nursing their young. Now, there are also some pink-backed pelicans on the island over there. Pink-backed pelicans nest in colonies that we call pods. And they do, of course, get their name because their back turns a shade of pink during the mating season. But just over there on our left-hand side, we're going to be able to see some Nile crocodiles. They are cold-blooded like most reptiles. That is why they're on the riverbank there trying to keep warm. They They have a bite force of about 2,000 pounds per square inch, and they are the largest species of crocodilian on the African continent. When they are fully grown, they will be about 16 to 20 feet long, making them as long as a giraffe is tall. Now, speaking of giraffes, we hope to find some at our next destination, which is the savannah. That's the home of not only giraffes, but many of the other famous animals of Africa as well. There's also some pretty unique plant life out here on the savannah, like the baobab tree, which you will be able to see on your right-hand side. Baobab trees can live to be thousands of years old, and they have the nickname of the upside-down tree because they look like they are planted upside down, with their roots sticking into the air. In actuality, their branches are just leafless for most of the year. As we head on to the savannah, we are able to see the effects that some of the animals that live here have had on their environment. For instance, we can see the effects the giraffes have had on the trees. Using their very long necks to reach for the leaves at the very tops, they keep the undersides of all of them pruned. We can also see that the grass is relatively well maintained by some of the animals that graze out here, like these Ankole cattle, which are just over here on our right-hand side. The Ankole cattle are also named the Watusi after the people that first domesticated them. And because of their size, their horns might look awfully heavy, but they are actually mostly hollow on the inside, with a honeycomb structure holding them together. They're able to circulate their blood through those horns, and it keeps them cool during the heat of the day.
Did you see those naughty ones? They need to give them back.
See the giraffes going?
As we continue to move forward, if you look out here toward your right, you're going to be able to see some Maasai giraffe. They stand about 18 to 20 feet tall when they are fully grown. They also have very long prehensile tongues that they use to grab the leaves off the tops of the trees. Their tongues are actually about as long as your arm is from the base of your shoulder out to your fingertip. So we'll take a quick stop here and get a look at that. Oh, well actually it's walking away from us, so we'll continue to pull a little bit further forward. Now we have seen a group of giraffes here, and they have a pretty fun group name. We call a group of giraffes a tower. So this animal that's on our left is a Patterson's eland. They're among the largest species of antelope on the planet. When they're fully grown, they'll stand about 6 feet tall at the shoulder. They also have the ability to jump about 8 feet into the air. If they were to do that, their hooves would be right about eye level with you. Now if you look out here toward your right at the hill, you're going to be able to see this herd of white-bearded wildebeest. They're also called gnu because the sound they make is very similar to gnu. This is actually a pretty small herd of them here, as they can be found in groups numbering upward of 1 million. There are also a few springbok that are populating the hill up here on the right. Springbok are a very small species of antelope, but don't let their size fool you. They would have no difficulty leaping into the air, going through the truck past your face and landing on the other side of the vehicle, as they can leap about 6 feet into the air and clear distances of 13 feet. We even have a special name for their jumping action. We call it pronking. Now we've got another giraffe that we're going to be able to see over here on our left-hand side. There's actually two of them there. And you might be able to see him stick his tongue out there. You know you want to. Nope. But for the most part, giraffes are pretty docile animals, but if they need to get moving, they can run at a top speed of about 35 miles per hour. Well, I'm not seeing any animals hanging out in this area, so we'll continue to move forward and hopefully catch a glimpse of some just up the road. Oh. Well, perhaps I've spoken too soon. The road that we would normally take appears to be closed. No matter, we've come too far to turn around now. We'll head up here toward the left and see where this might take us. This bridge doesn't look too sturdy. I'm gonna go pulley across it. That means very slowly, but to be extra safe, if everyone could just sit real still and hold their breath as we cross, we should be alright. Oh, this doesn't sound too good. Oh! Oh, that was a close one. What's so funny? We could have fallen off of that bridge. Now, our perilous journey has brought us to this area of clay pits. We might find a few more animals hanging out in this area. Just up the road from us on our left-hand side, we're going to be able to see a flamboyance of flamingos. Now these are specifically greater flamingo. They're the largest and lightest pink of all the flamingo species. Their feathers are actually gray when they are first born, and they turn that shade of pink over time due to their diet, which consists mostly of brine shrimp. Oh, I think just up the road from us on our left, I'm able to spot an animal up here. Yes, indeed. There is a cheetah just over here on our left-hand side. Its head is just poking up high enough for us to be able to see. Our cheetah can sprint at about 60 miles per hour. The key word there, of course, being sprint. They can't maintain that speed for very long. Once they've worn themselves out, they will lie down like that to rest and regain their strength. And unlike most cats, cheetah are diurnal. That means that they're most active during the day. This rock formation that we're coming up on is called a kopie. Many of the larger predators in Africa will use kopies like lookout posts to help them spot potential prey on the savanna.
I thought those were elephants. I thought those were elephants. If you know how to make them
I'm not seeing any animals hanging out around the kopie, but I did catch a glimpse of some animals just on the other side of these rocks to our right. So we'll head up here around the bend, see if we can't catch a glimpse of them. Yep, there they are. Just up ahead of us on our right-hand side, we're able to see a few waterbuck. Well, these are female waterbuck. We can tell that because they don't have any horns. They get their name because they consume an unusually large amount of water for an antelope species, and because of that you can never find them too far away from a significant water source. Another interesting thing to note about the waterbuck is that they have a white ring on their backside. You might have noticed it. Now, that white ring is incredibly reflective of light, and it helps the young ones to see where their mother is at all times, even if it's dark outside.
Oh, I see it right there. That's why I'm not like glasses. That's why I'm not like glasses. Because, you know what? I like
Yeah, man.
And just up ahead of us on our right-hand side, we're going to be able to catch a glimpse of some yellow-billed storks. These birds are carnivorous, and they will eat just about any animal small enough to fit into their beak. That includes lizards, snakes, fish, and even smaller birds. Now, we've seen many magnificent animals on the reserve today, and here in Harambe, we live very closely with each and every one of them. It is fantastic, but it does present its difficulties. For instance, elephants have been known to get into the crops of the farmers here in Africa, and unfortunately, sometimes the farmers will take drastic measures to keep the elephants off of their land. Thankfully, though, researchers with the Disney Conservation Fund have found out that elephants are afraid of bees of all things. In order to help the farmers out, we have put up beehive fences around their fields. It keeps the elephants away and safe, and the farmers are able to sell the honey that the bees make. But very sadly, friends, I do have to say that our journey is coming to its close. We're nearing the edge of the village where I'll be dropping you all off. I hope you've enjoyed your time out on the reserve today and that seeing these animals up close has inspired you to look for ways to promote conservation efforts at home so that we'll have these animals around for generations to come. If you're looking to find some more animals around today, unfortunately both of the walking trails are closed, but over in Dino Land I know that they have the American crocodile over there. You can go see that. Stick around for Rivers of Light tonight. I believe there's a 9:15 and a 10:30. I'll have to double check that though real quick for you. It's a pretty good show. If you've not seen it, I would recommend sticking around for it. But before we part ways, my friends, I would like to say to you, Kwaherini. That means go well. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your time here in Africa and have a great rest of your day wherever the journey might take you.